Good afternoon. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Edina. For the benefit of my guests, my name is Sanga Sato. I have the privilege and today definitely the honor of facilitating today's special meeting. My warmest welcome to Rotarians and guests to today's very special meeting. Today our club, the Rotary Club of Edina, celebrates its 60th Charter Week anniversary. Now, in front of you, you'll find place settings, you'll find a little packet with a coin. Do anyone here know what the challenge coin means? Nope. Oh, one person back there. The challenge coin is a military tradition where, in my case, I know it through my son, the sailor in the Navy. When sailors go out together to bar hopping or whatever, and a sailor will take a challenge coin and tap it on the bar counter. And whoever sailor who doesn't have a challenge coin then pays for the tab. Now, that's a little humor in there, but at the same time, this is a commemorative coin for all of us to celebrate and commemorate 60th year. On one side, it says Rotary Club Edina, 1957-2017. On the other has the four-way test. So I hope you use this, whether as a challenge coin or as a ball marker in case of John Flynn or other golfers. I'm glad to have all of you here today. Now, we have a special program, but before we start, I would like to make acknowledgments because today's program would not be possible with participation of so many Rotarians. First, assisting off the podium, you were warmly greeted by TIF Director David Kleins, new member Jake Johnson, Rotarian Sonia Tengen, and new member Fred Sylvester. Front desk, we had Mary Youngren, Andrea Thompson, and our capable club administrator, Jennifer Goski. The Barker today will be written by our past president, Jeff O. He's here, I saw him. And we have two club photographers today in addition to a video. Photographer is our club service director, Marty Cooper, and President-elect John Flynn. Now, people who will be taking part in the program from the podium today. First, myself, yours truly. Then second, Deirdre Cavell will come up for our invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, and four-way test. Dick Teagan will come up to do a reading on Mickey Lane's history of Rotary of the Rotary Club of Edina. Then there will be a recognition of longest-serving members and introduction past presidents here today by past President Jennifer Benarott. We'll also then move on to recognition of membership pillars by Membership Director Greg Yock. Special recognition will be made by, comments will be made by District Governor-elect Irene Kelly. And then today's guest speaker is Jennifer Adam from the Historical Society of Edina. And then followed by special speaker thank you by Social Director Renee Roberts, and closing by myself. Deirdre, if you could come up for invocation, please.
Thank you, San. With great sadness, we learned this week of the carnage that unfolded on Sunday in Las Vegas. It's hard to understand how somebody could be so filled with hate and rage that he would take his own life, plus take the lives of countless other people. But through this tragedy, we heard of stories of great bravery and kindness. There are stories of people risking their lives to help others. There's a story of a husband who protected his wife and shielded her from bullets. Tragically, he lost his own life. Through these stories, we see that we have the ability to have great kindness and compassion in the face of tragedy. Let us hope for a world with kindness and compassion without tragedy, and pray for the victims that they will be able to heal both physically and emotionally from this event. And now, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the four-way test. First,
Is it the truth?
Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Very nice. Dick?
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be back at Edina Rotary, and I was a bit concerned. I guess I've been accepted, but I was concerned because of the person that has sponsored me and Tim Murphy. But I did make it after all. I'd like to start by putting us back to 1957 and see if we can think of terms of 1957. That was 11 years after the peace treaties of World War II were signed. And 1953, conclusion of the Korean conflict. Hearty congratulations, Edina admitted 26 August. Please advise, new club, also sponsor club, signed by Beth Beatty, Rotary International. The above telegram read to the members of the newly formed Edina Rotary Club at its meeting on August 29, 1957, by District Governor Evelyn Bank, which probably be considered the official birth notice of the district's new baby. The Rotary Club Edina, however, as a conception and birth, the idea that became the Rotary Club Edina started many weeks before. The christening of the new club took place the evening of October 7th, 1957, when the club was formally presented its charter. Godfather of the Edina Rotary Club was Sam S. Thorpe Jr., a longtime Edina resident and Minneapolis Rotarian. A Rotary Club in Edina has been a special dream of mine for a long time, commented Sam at the charter night banquet. Sam Thorpe and Fred Rogers, then a member of the St. Louis Club, canvassed the community and decided that there were at least 26 people interested in forming a club. On June 17, 1957, Sam sent his survey report to Rotary International with the following comments of the surveyor's viewpoint. A very fine, high-class village with good business sections, and more industries are likely to be moving in. Many Minneapolis clubs live in Edina. Many Minneapolis club members live in Edina. Lots of good help from both Minneapolis and St. Louis Park. The next step required to iron out the problems involved in forming a new club were uncertain because the territorial limits of the St. Louis Park Club encompassed Edina, and Minneapolis Club and Morningside was in the Minneapolis Club territory. It was necessary for both of these clubs to take the necessary action to relinquish their communities. This was done with unanimous support of both the Minneapolis and St. Louis clubs members. During the preliminary period, Sam Thorpe held several meetings in home with prospective Edina and Morningside members, and they also had meetings at Minnetonka Club. The most important of such meetings on July 8, 1957, 14 prospective members plus 3 members of the Minneapolis Club and 2 from the St. Louis Park Club voted to apply a charter for Rotary International. The new club was officially organized at a meeting on July 18, with the election of officers and board directors, with Kermit Wilson serving as the first president. The meeting was held at the Biltmore Inn, selected as the official meeting place for the new club. The standard constitution and bylaws recommended by Rotary International were adopted by the board of directors at the first meeting. Annual fees and dues members were also established. President Kermit Wilson made tentative appointments of the directors who were to be in charge of the various club activities. The first official luncheon meeting of the provisional club was held at the Biltmore Inn on Thursday, July 25th, with 18 members and 7 visitors in attendance. Regular weekly meetings continued from there on, with attendance being officially for club records of September 1st, 1957. The Edina Charter Night Banquet was held on October 7th, 1957, with over 400 Rotarians and their wives from around the state attending the Charter Night Party. With some 25 Rotary clubs represented, the Edina Club was certainly given an auspicious christening. It was only fitting that Sam Thorpe should be the MC of the Charter Presentation Party as special representative of the district governor. Father Sam also had the privilege of introducing the 21 charter members of the new Edina Club and represented them with lapel pins. Charter members included Donald Burris, Arnold Chester, William Creer, Jr., Robert Crabb, C.J. Dennons, Kenneth Edwards, Stan Fredrickson, Robert Grail, Harbert Gross, Warren Hyde, Don Junkins, M.E. Mickey Lane, and Ralph Nelson, Fred Rogers, Fred Rowe, Lou Russell, Held Sawyer, Frank Tupa, Wally Westberg, Kermit Wilson, and Ken Zinzer. Edina New Rotary was a bit overwhelmed by the gifts from the other Rotary clubs in District 5950, who were anxious to get off to a good start. And with that, over 25 clubs presented gifts and financial support to get the club up and running. Thus, the encouragement and good wishes of Rotary Club of 5950, the Edina Rotary Club became part of the great worldwide fellowship known as Rotary.
Jennifer, could you come up to lead us to the next segment of our special program? But before we do, if you don't mind, the people who are on Jennifer's team to make this special event take place today, can you stand so we can recognize you and thank you for all your efforts? Come on, stand up, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Jennifer Bennerat, and I had the privilege of serving as your club president in 2015 and 2016. Thank you. Hi, Gordon. We asked Dick to read Mickey Lane's history because Dick officially is our newest club member. It has been a tradition of our club that on every 10th anniversary, we read that history. So thank you again, Dick, for doing that for us. When Dick read Mickey's history, he listed our 21 charter members. Sadly, none of them are still with us today. However, we have 4 members who were sponsored by one of them, Don Jutkins. Those members are Ed Bather, Bert Cohen, Don Erickson, and Adam Stanzak. If any of you are here, will you please stand? Because the process to get a charter is lengthy, our club's history denies a couple of our members the right to be called founding members. That's really unfortunate because between the time that Father Sam applied for the charter and the time we actually received it and had our charter night, 2 of our current members joined and were actually part of our charter night celebration. They just aren't listed on the darn charter. Don Erickson is officially the longest serving member of our club. He joined on August 26, 1957, more than a month before charter night. And Frank Carterell joined just 1 day later on August 27, 1957. Jack Braun joined a few months later in December. So I feel bad for all of them. But really, 60 years of service above self. Throughout the year, we've been hearing these 6 carat classification talks under San's leadership, and we will hear from all of these guys during the year. But we are preparing special videos for really our 5 longest serving members. I won't spoil the surprise there. But today we'd like to show our first one. Chris, if you would please cue the video for a feature on Don Erickson.
Well, this is a photo that I hardly recognize now, but this is me back in 1964 when I was president of Rotary. Well, I was invited by 2 good friends, Don Judkins and Mickey Lane, to consider Rotary, and that's why I joined initially. It's a tremendous organization, and Edina is probably one of the best Rotary clubs around, and I enjoyed the opportunity of the fellowship and to be involved with a group that supported its community and the country and the world. The core of Rotary is that it's a service organization and helps others, and Edina Rotary has been especially good at that. Rotary does so much more now, and it has such good, capable leadership. It's come a long, long ways. It's a marvelous organization, and I can't think of a better one. And I've been very fortunate and honored to be a part of it.
We have special wine to present to Frank and Don today in recognition of their 60 years of service, and we will get Jack his a little bit later. Along with the reading of Mickey Lane's history, another tradition of our club on our 10-year anniversaries is to honor our past presidents. Since our 10th anniversary, we've gathered all of them for a group photo, which we will do again today after the meeting. At each Rotary International Convention, a timeline is shared with the crowd honoring the Rotary International presidents. We've developed our own video timeline following that model. Chris is going to cue that video, and as each president is listed, I'd like them to stand if they're here, and then I will announce them for those of you who can't read the screen. Kermit Wilson. Robert Crabb, help shape the future. Donald Judkins, vitalize, personalize, build bridges of friendship. Stanley Frederickson, you are Rotary, live it, express it. Ken Zinzer, act, aim for action, communicate for understanding, and T for something else. Brett Rogers was also our district governor that year. Bruce Sherbert, kindle the spark within. Don Erickson, Meeting Rotary's challenge in the space age. Please stand down if you're able. CJ Danins, live Rotary. Woodrow Wilson, live Rotary. Emmy Mickey Lane, action, consolidation, and continuity. Don Gabbard, a better world through Rotary. Don Brower, make your Rotary membership effective. Warren Hyde, participate. Frank Carterell, review and renew. Dr. Lloyd Pearson, bridge the gaps, how appropriate. John Bishop, goodwill begins with you. Elvin Anderson, let's take a new look and act. Robert Jones, a time for action. Dr. Keith Millett, renew the spirit of Rotary. Bob Felker, to dignify the human being. Dr. William Strom, to dignify that there must be a typo there. Dr. Walter Bonnet, I believe in Rotary. Lee Hootmacher, serve to unite mankind. Dr. Ernie Larson Jr., reach out. Harvey Moore, let service light the way. Dan Hallberg, take time to serve. Dr. Charles Lindemann, world understanding and peace through Rotary. Thornton T.P. Anderson, mankind is one. Bill Kleins, share Rotary, serve people. Dennis Bach, discover a new world of service. Joseph Kenny, you are the key. James Hogg, Rotary brings hope. Albert Kemp, Rotarians united in service, dedicated to peace. John Dierkles, put life into Rotary, your life. Larry Fisher, enjoy Rotary. Dennis Hikes, honor Rotary with faith and enthusiasm. Dan Hallberg also served as district governor that year. Scott Hutton, look beyond yourself. Mick Flynn, real happiness is helping others. Harry Spell, believe in what you do what you believe in. John Dierkles was also district governor that year. Bob Perkins, be a friend. Kevin Curry, act with integrity, serve with love, work for peace. Les Swaninger, build the future with action and vision. Bob Solheim, Rotary, show Rotary cares for your community. Tom McNellis, follow your Rotary dream. Bob Hildreth, Rotary 2000, act with consistency, credibility. Mike Norman, create awareness, take action. Patty Ellingson Solheim, mankind is our business, our first female president. Bob Snellick, sow the seeds of love. Brad Huff, lend a hand. Bruce Templeton, celebrate Rotary. Sandy Schlag, service above self. Tim Murphy, lead the way. Terry Stevens, Rotary shares. Paul Louis, make dreams real. Ellen Kennedy, the future of Rotary is in your hands. And Sandy was our district governor. John Barnett, building communities, bridging continents. Rouge Ryan, teach within to embrace humanity. Scott McDonald, peace through service. Steve Slice, engage Rotary, change lives. Jeff Olive, light up Rotary. Jennifer Bennerat, be a gift to the world. Was our district governor that year. Ann Platt, Rotary serving humanity. And finally, Sana Sato, Rotary making a difference. speak for, I think, all of the past presidents when I say it is an honor and a privilege to serve this club as president, and I look forward to another 9 presidents joining that timeline before we have another anniversary celebration. Now I would like to invite Membership Director Greg Yock to the front to honor our membership pillars. Greg.
Hello. So often a person being considered for membership is invited by a club member to attend a club meeting to learn more about Rotary. The Rotarian typically becomes that person's sponsor, guiding him or her through the membership process. Some Rotary clubs recognize their membership pillars, the members who have sponsored the most current members. Our club did that 10 years ago at our 50th anniversary, and we will do it again today. Before we recognize the membership pillars for 2017, I'd like to recognize a few others who have sponsored many members. Those that have sponsored 4 members are John Barnett, Dick Teagan, and me. Those who have sponsored 5 members are Dave Hatsung, Tim Murphy, Ann Platt, Sandy Schley, and Skip Thomas.
Why don't you guys stand?
Why don't you stand up? Can you all stand to be recognized, please? Thank you very much. And our membership pillars for 2017 are Josh Sprague and Scott McDonald. So I'm going to say a little bit about the 2 of them. So Scott McDonald joined the club in 1996. He's the sponsor of 11 of our club members, and those club members are John Butolf, Mike Hagan, Mark Jessen, Jack Kenefick, Marty Cooper, Mike Opitz, Ed Padilla, Steve Slice, John Solberg, Mary Swenson, and Steve Vieker. So Scott was recognized as our membership pillar of 2007 when we celebrated our 50th anniversary. And Josh Sprague, who you all know. Josh joined the club less than a decade ago in 2008. And he's the sponsor of 13 of our members. So I'll read those. David Ozzie, Hannelore Brucker, Ian Colville, Heather Edelson, Bjorn Freudenthal, Tony Gerard, Dan Hennon, Raj Kumar, Leanne Stessman, Susan Stiles, Dan Stolfa, Scott Tankanoff, and Andrea Thompson Miller. All right. So thank you to Scott and Josh for helping grow our membership, and to all of you for helping grow our membership. Thanks.
Hello and happy anniversary. I'm Irene Kelly. I'm the district governor-elect, and I bring greetings from our Rotary 5950 district. Unfortunately, our district governor, Bob Halligan, was not able to be here today, so I have the honor of congratulating you. Sorry about that. So I have a few remarks here. So, you know, an anniversary is really about celebrating the past, the present, and the future. So think about the past. 1957, Toyota began selling cars in the United States. Significant technology was being advanced to put a man on the moon. And Elvis purchased Graceland for his home. And the Rotary Club of Edina was chartered with 18 members, men only at the time, and the Edina Rotarians began to serve the community. That was the past. Many things have changed, okay? So today, Toyota produces over 2 million cars in North America. Technology in our hands can almost launch that man or woman to the moon. And Graceland and Paisley Park are open to the public. And the Rotary Club of Edina still serves the community and the world. They're one of the fastest growing clubs in our district with 170 plus members. And they're celebrating 60 years today, so congratulations to all of you. And then there's the future. So what will the future hold? Cars will be self-driving. Technology will take us on regularly scheduled trips to the moon. And we know that the Rotary Club of Edina will continue to serve the community and the world. And in fact, I'm going to invite John Flynn to join me because I have a special presentation for John. So join me up here, John. Don't be shy. And unfortunately, I'll mention that. Anyway, oh, thank you. Anyway, John will be the president serving next year, kicking off the second 60 years of celebration of the Rotary Club of Edina. And so my intention today is to present John with his president-elect manual, his president manual, actually. And unfortunately, I left it in my office. Some things are still in paper, even though we're in a world of technology. So, John, I'll get that to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for serving. And thanks to all of you for serving and making Edina Rotary such a vibrant club in our district. Happy anniversary, Rotary Club of Edina.
Our guest speaker today is Jennifer Adam. As I mentioned earlier, she is the Executive Director of Historical Society of Edina. Jennifer, could you come up and tell us a little more about yourself? And here's a clicker.
Oh, great, thank you. All right. Can you hear me all right? Good. All right. Well, about myself, I've been at the Edina Historical Society for about a year and a half. I also have a couple other jobs. I work at St. Kate's in St. Paul. I teach there as an adjunct, and I also am the Visual Resources Curator. So that job helped parlay me into this job as well. And I also live in St. Paul with my husband and my son and quite a few animals as well. So thank you very much for having me here today. The format I have is I'm going to have the PowerPoint, and I'll do my best to go through the slides and then give you some of the information on them as we go through. I also want to point out that we put some materials at the back of the room that are some of the directories, a couple photos, other things related to Rotary. They're actually going to be coming into our collection, but I wanted to bring a few today that you could take a look at before or after the meeting if you like. We did put some gloves over there to help protect from getting oil or dirt onto the objects, but great to have you take a look at those as well. We also put information on membership for Edina Historical Society over there. We're always looking to get more members. So please take a look. And I also have my business card back there as well. So we'll get my notes here. The aspects of the Edina Rotary, which I will cover today, are coming to you through the lens of the Historical Society, as many of the visuals used in this talk were taken from archival materials which are currently in the process of being donated to the Edina Historical Society, some 3 bins full. So it should be made clear that this is not meant to be an exhaustive nor completely comprehensive picture of the Edina Rotary through the years, but instead more of a visual remembrance based on these archives. That said, my plan for today is to take you through some of the club's history and to showcase some of its initiatives, events, people, and awards. It should also be noted that most of the materials I drew from this talk, photos, documents, objects, and so on, were gathered over the years by a gentleman you all know, Mr. Frank Carterell. Frank, as you know, is a long-term member and past president of both Rotary and Edina Historical Society. Frank and his wife, Lois, were also of great help in giving me a sense of who or what was in many of the photos included in this collection of archival materials. That said, there were instances where we were somewhat stumped as to what the content of some of the photos was. So if someone in the audience today does recognize a face or an event in an image I show today, please don't be afraid to come up afterwards and let me know. Or you can email me. Like I said, I put my business card back there and give me more information. I'll be taking notes on any additional information I do get so as to increase EHS's knowledge about the materials and improve their historical content and value as a resource going forward. I want to first lay out a very brief history of the Rotary, including materials in our collection related to its start. On July 8, 1957, 18 people voted to apply to Rotary International for a charter as the Rotary Club of Edina. The initial board consisted of Kermit Wilson, President, Mickey Lane, Vice President, Don Judkins, Treasurer, and Robert Crabb, Secretary, and Ralph Nelson, Frank Tupa, Lou Russell, and Fred Rogers as directors. Some of these men are to be found in the photos I will be sharing with you today. EHS also has in its possession materials related to the initial charter of the Rotary. So I go to the right here? All right. So here are some scans showing the program with the title of Charter Night. And if you take a look at the document, you kind of notice I really like the sort of clean, sparse layout. Very neat fonts juxtaposed with a sort of script font, which has also been employed. Since 1957, in terms of membership, the Edina Rotary's ranks have only grown from less than 24 members to a current average of membership of more than 150. The club has also hosted many impressive guest speakers, including the Governor of Minnesota, U.S. Senators and Representatives, Supreme Court Justices, and a variety of individuals from many walks of life and industry who come to share their perspectives, their work, their values, and so on with this weekly fellowship the Rotary offers. The Edina Rotary has also put its money where its mouth is in terms of its mission of service. In the past few years, the membership has raised an average of more than $50,000 per year to be used for good works. Pretty impressive. So this photo here is from the late 1960s, and it shows some of the early members. Seated from left to right, Mickey Lane, Don Brower, Bruce Schubert, and all these three men were past presidents or presidents at one time or another, and Kermit Wilson. And standing left to right, some of the individuals we have not identified yet, but we can see Don Judkins at right, also a past president. I think this photo is pretty interesting. It seems like the group is about to embark on onto a bus for some sort of outing. And the man you see in the center with a white shirt and no tie is C.J. Sonny Danens. He was an excavating contractor and also a founding member and club president in 1964. We also have other examples of field trips the Rotary has taken in our archives. For instance, we have photos from a 1965 Rotary trip to the Rochester Rotary Club. I love these photos because they really capture the look and feel of style in the 1960s. For example, this is a very roomy bus. This photo taken at the meeting in the Rochester Rotary meeting space shows a very 60s color scheme and style. Note the short brown and orange curtains and the wood paneling. And it's also notable that all the members are men. They're all wearing suits. Some of them are smoking cigars. So very Mad Men-esque to me when I take a look at it. There are also many individuals in these photos, but a couple I would like to point out. At the top right, we can see Frank Carterell over at the right looking rather dapper. And in the center bottom photo, we see Kermit Wilson at far left. These photos from Rochester also demonstrate that the format of Rotary meetings really changed over the years. The Rotary used to utilize a head table at its meetings, as seen in the photo at right. Mickey Lane is seen second from right in that image. He was also the historian for the Rotary for a long period of time. In 1988, the Edina Rotary got its first woman member. And that was Chris Ann Manoles. She was a Rotary exchange student who remained active in Rotary during her college career. Today she is part of a Rotary club in Orono. Oh, she is? Okay, I pulled it from the website, so sorry about that. I'll change that. Among the many illustrious guests the Rotary had enjoyed over the years, one they had in 1968 really stands out. Vice President Hubert H. Humphrey served as guest speaker in honoring the most accomplished of Edina High School students graduating that year. We have in our collection 2 photos taken at Interlochen Country Club from that day. In this photo, we can see the students being honored. They are all holding plaques, as you can see. At center, we see Humphrey, then Rotary member Raleigh Ring, then Frank Carterell, and also note that the photo has been signed by Humphrey at lower left with the words, "To Mickey Lane, my best wishes, Hubert H. Humphrey." So definitely something you want to hold on to in the archives.
Is that Paul Peterson in the back left?
Remember, email me and tell me, I'll fill it in. In this photo, we see Humphrey at the head table, at either before or after speaking to the Rotary, with Frank Carterell doing MC duties. From left to right, you see Mickey Lane's wife, then Mickey, then Humphrey, and then Frank. This notable wide format photo of the Edina Rotary was taken in 1992.
Go back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was told that it was raining while this was being set up for a shot, but the photographer still managed to pull it off. If you go back to the table after the meeting is over, you can take a look at the, we have one of the copies of the photo, and it has all the names of the people who were in the group on the back. Edina Rotary marked 50 years as a club with its golden anniversary celebration in 2007. In our collection, we have a program from the event, which you see here. Its cover's at left, and some of its interior pages are at right. William Kleins, who I understand is here today, is pictured in, with his wife Lois, and is still an active member and has done a lot for Rotary. As I noted earlier, the late Mickey Lane was the historian for the Edina Rotary for many years and wrote an extensive history of it, copies of which we have in our collection, and a page of which you see here. When one of EHS's Emeriti board members, Bob Coatine, who is here with us today, and I read through this document, we learned that the Rotary Club of Edina had relocated many times over its history, including the now defunct Biltmore Inn, the Interlochen Country Club, the Camelot Restaurant, and the Edina Country Club, where it has been since 1989. This struck us as interesting, and I thought it would be fun to include in my talk today some historical photos of some of these locations. I searched our collection at the Edina Historical Society, and this is some of what I found. Okay. So here's a really neat black and white panoramic photograph of the Biltmore Motor Hotel, which is now no longer in existence, and the spot where the Edina Rotary held its first meeting. We also have a couple good shots of the Interlochen Country Club taken many years ago. This is a black and white photograph of a large group of people gathered in the tee box area on the Interlochen Country Club golf course during the U.S. Open in 1930. If you look carefully, you can see a golfer is visible mid-swing in the center of the group. The clubhouse is visible in the background. This black and white photograph is of members of the Edina Police Department posing for a picture on the grounds at Interlochen Country Club after receiving the 1963 Traffic Safety Award, and it also gives us a good view of that building. The police chief of the time, Wayne Bennett, is standing front and center holding the award plaque. I did not seem to have an image of the Camelot restaurant within our collection database, so I found one from the web to include here today. I think that almost all of you are familiar with its unique castle-like architecture, complete with a moat, and perhaps with the fact that it today houses an art gallery run by Bill and Deb Mack. This color photograph of an original black and white photograph shows the Edina Country Club from the parking lot. Writing on the back indicates that it was taken in 1932 after the second clubhouse was built. I would also like to take a minute to mention that I was able to locate these images from my Rotary talk quite easily because they had been inventoried as part of the grant that we got last year through the Minnesota Historical Society's Legacy Program, something never before accomplished in EHS's almost 50 years. I just punched in a couple of keywords into our museum collection software and instantly received results, including images and related data. We may be submitting a grant proposal to Rotary this year to complete this grant, as the money we received last year only covers part of our inventory. I hope that what I am sharing with you today speaks to the importance of this project, no matter who ends up funding it. Completing it means not only being able to easily find Edina's and the Rotary's history quite easily, but also to be able to share it and to bring it to life. We have several examples of the Edina Rotary's newsletter titled The Barker in our collection. The Barker started out being produced on a mimeograph, and now is, of course, produced using desktop publishing, and so, as you can see, has enjoyed differing styles over the years. Here are some photo reproductions of past and present Edina Rotary members of note in our collection, though this list is not comprehensive to be sure. We have Judge Donald Burris at left, a very active member, Bert Cohen, founder of MSP Communications, Harry Spell, a past president, and Lloyd Pearson, a former president and still a member. The Rotary has also conducted different initiatives and projects over the years towards its mission of service and making a difference in people's lives, locally, nationally, and even worldwide. EHS has many examples of materials related to these programs in its archives. For example, Camp Enterprise. The 3-day camp offers students the opportunity to participate in its leadership activities, focusing on the free enterprise system. It also offers a number of scholarships, with applicants writing essays on topics selected. So this slide shows a couple of the program covers for Camp Enterprise. And we're not completely sure, but we think that this may have been a member taking the annual group photo at the camp. Other materials in our collection speak to the variety of outreach initiatives conducted by the Edina Rotary. Of course, here we have a poster for the Edina Rotary Legacy Fund. And we're not exactly sure what event this photo was taken at, but given that the Rotary has done a lot of outreach to schools, it seems that this is likely somehow related. These great photos also illustrate the work and hustle of Rotary members over the years to assemble and deliver Thanksgiving baskets for those less fortunate. And this photo of a musical performance seems likely to have been part of some sort of Rotary fundraiser, and I would say in the 1970s, given the coloration of the image and also the sort of feel with the cutting around of the photograph. I also want to touch on some other types of support which Rotary has given. Back in 2010, this little boy, Moses Morara, from the impoverished Mathare Valley in Kenya, was adopted by the club, meaning it provided funds for him to receive much needed eye surgery and later on scholarships, and indeed he is today in school. Rotary members Sandy Schley, who is also a past president, and Cindy Murphy are seen at lower left with Moses. A caption included in the image says that this photo was taken 1 or so hours after surgery. Pretty impressive. I am not completely sure, but I think this is Moses on the photo on the right with some Edina kids. We also have some archival materials which speak to the support that the Edina Rotary has given to the Historical Society over the decades. For instance, this photo, which is part of our collection, is titled Raffle Winner. On the back, it reads, left to right, Peter Myers, Betty Hempstead, K. Bach, Centennial Commission, accepting check for $25,000 from Edina Rotary for Historical Museum. We know, of course, that this check, along with other funds raised during the Edina Centennial, paid for the new wing to be constructed at the old Arneson home at Arneson Acres so that the museum could have a more permanent residence. It's also of interest that the Edina Historical Society has the original buggy, which was once owned by former Edina Rotary President Kermit Wilson. It is in the basement of Cahill School and has been ridden in at least 4 past Edina parades. The buggy used to be located at Kermit's farm, which stood where Our Lady of Grace Church is today. Our collection also has some of the actual awards which the Edina Rotary has received over the years, including at left, the 1992 Mayor's Community Endowment Commendation, and at right, the award for an outstanding youth project presented by the National Rotary Club. Finally, I want to show a few photos which speak to the fact that the Rotary has also been a place to not only work hard, but to create connections, friendships, deepen values, and to have fun. I don't have information on the identities of all the people in these photos. I'm sure some of you will be willing to come up and tell me more about them later, but a few I can point out. We think the man in the photo with the kids in the balloon is Dan Hallgren, past president and district secretary of Rotary, and the man at podium at right is Don Brower, also a past president. I also like this great collection of photos. At upper left, we can see Bob and Patty Solheim. They own NC Little Hospice over by Southdale and are both Rotary members. I presume this was for a Rotary event, and I'm impressed that Patty was game enough to, in supporting the event, to dress up as a large turkey. And finally, in this last group of photos, we see in the photo at lower left, Rotary member Walter Bonnet, a past president, at left in conversation with another member, I presume. As I wrap up this presentation, I would like to mention that I have brought with me a few items, which I already kind of talked about, so I'll skip along there. I also would like to thank you for having me today to help your organization celebrate its 60th anniversary and its continued strength. On behalf of Edina Historical Society, I would also like to extend my thanks for your support that you've given us over the years, both past and in the future. We cannot do the work we do without support from community organizations such as yours. Thank you.
Okay, great. And it looks like, Jennifer, that we have time for some
Yeah, we have a
questions.
couple
So are there questions from the audience?
And Frank may be helping me with some of the questions.
Mr. President?
Thanks. So as we move from materials to digital, what kind of challenge does that give Edina Historical Society in terms of archiving all that stuff?
Well, I'd say right now, with the inventory we're doing, we are being able to go towards a digital conversion because we're scanning all the objects or photographs, whatever it is, or creating a digital copy, and then we also do all the measurements. We take other metadata and plug it in. It is going to be an issue down the line when things are, today everybody sends email versus an old-fashioned letter or things like that. And there's going to have to be more protocols put in place for how do you handle those type of things when maybe if you're getting older in life and you think, well, what do I do with all these emails now? And I have a feeling it's not going to be a clean sort of conversion, but I think part of the job of being a historian or being in an archival position is trying to figure out some of the strategies and put in place kind of steps that people can do, and then try to get that out into the world.
If I may just relate questions. For example, our club takes a lot of photos, videos, and so forth. But that's archived on our own system. How would we, down the road, be able to transition that to Historical Society?
Well, you would probably, you could get in contact with us down the line and say, okay, well, I have this many video files and I have this many images, and then we would, we have ways of bringing that in according to the classifications we've already built. We do already have a lot of, we have a lot of oral histories that we've done over the years, and we're still making that conversion from old-fashioned tapes to digital. I think another sort of dream for us is to eventually put more materials online where we'd have collection databases that people could access for free that would be on our website, and that would kind of drive traffic towards us, but also would be a good resource for people to use. So something like that, would be great to eventually put some of that sort of things online. But it, of course, always takes time and funding and organization to get that done. Other questions? Beth?
Yeah, so this is a great club and it's made up of really amazing members. And a lot of the members have done things beyond the club. So is that recorded as well in the history, like projects that they've worked on or things that they've added to the community and to the world? Is that part of our history, or is it really just overall the club?
From what I've seen.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, sure. She's wondering if the people who've been in Rotary members over the years have a lot of very interesting things about their lives outside of Rotary, and do our archives have some of that information included as well? And I would say that from what my understanding of it is that we do not have as much on other extracurricular activities or other activities of the members, more just what happened in terms of club meetings, events, photographs, all that kind of stuff. Do you want to speak to anything else that they would have for Rotary? No.
I think that's probably about our
Okay.
time. Do we have three? Oh, sorry.
I know for a fact that our club has been the #1 club in the world since it was. So, and I have data to prove that. Society have any? Do you have the year that we actually became #1?
Well, I can tell you that we're still in the process of having the materials donated to us officially, and then we will sort through everything that we have. So I don't know if anything will be revealed within that, but if not, you could get us that data, and that might be good. Any other questions? Great. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Jennifer, I'm going to see if I can get this to speak here. So Jennifer, thank you so much for that really informative presentation about our club. And as a fairly new member to our club, and I'm going to assume that it's probably true of a lot of our other newer members, really understanding our history and understanding how our club evolved is really informative. So I want to thank you very much for that presentation and for bringing it to life. Like with the pictures made it become real so we can actually have people associated with it. So thank you so much. And Rotary is a 1.2 million members of neighbors, community leaders, and global citizens united for the common good of service above self. Rotary has 6 areas of focus, and one of those is supporting education. And in appreciation for your presentation today, we'll make a donation in your name to the Edina Education Kids program.
Great.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was it's always fun to see those old photos. And Frank, thank you for arranging this with Jennifer and sifting through the archival photographs. And again, thank you for both Don and Frank. Thank you for being with us for 60 years and chartering this club, because I think our club is very, very special. So to close today, I would also like to thank Jennifer and her team for putting this together, because as president, I asked her to whether she would like to do this, and she just said, yeah, absolutely. And then I just kind of stepped back. So it's fun to see this program put together in the way it has been. And, I look forward to our next major celebration. And we move on. So again, I'm sorry, I would like to mention that, as Jennifer mentioned, past presidents, if you could gather right there so we can take a photo for our 60 years. And, have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Meeting adjourned.